And it's a podcast. It's the HiGPod. Two special nice guests here today. We got Nijoonen, who's burping in the background, as you can clearly hear. And we got Ceejæy here as well. Hello.
Hey.
Remember to move your mouse when you're talking.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I think you need to go out of that thing of yours so you can talk.
Busy drinking beer though.
Yeah, that's a good start. Okay, so this is the podcast, the HiGPod, where we talk about things. This is the round table of good people. So why don't you introduce yourselves in case somebody don't know who you are? Start with you, Ceejæy.
Okay, I'm Ceejæy, and I stream and I play a lot of MVM. That's probably what people know me for, and I trade a lot. So I like having lots of weapons and lots of different things, and I love TFT.
And what about you,
I
Nijoonen?
I play too much video games.
Move your mouse when you talk.
How much? I used to move a little bit. I hopefully get to cast some games. I play too much Highlander and drop too much Ubers in 66.
Oh, all right. So we have a kind of a diversity here. So there's a couple of things we want to talk about. Of course, the major one that I made a spasm video about was the sniper fix, of course. Something I've been rampaging about for a really long time. Finally got into the game, and I'm so happy. And it's really cool. For me, at least, like, what's your guys' experience with it so far? We can start with Ceejæy.
Like I don't play sniper at all, so other than playing it in MVM, which doesn't affect me whatsoever because you don't need to kind of counter snipe in MVM much. And I don't play it really much other than in lobbies. So on a personal experience, like, it's affected me not at all. Other than playing in sort of DM servers and seeing snipers struggle, trying to counter snipe by not being able to jump, it seems pretty interesting, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about it. So it's interesting to see that like a lot of snipers really hate it, and funnily enough, there's a couple of snipers that like it.
Yeah, I'm the ones that like it a lot. What about you, Nijoonen? You play sniper sometimes, I think.
Yeah, I used to play in competitive, but then, you know, people hate engineering heavy, so I got put onto those classes. No, but I think it's a fair update that gets too much shit, really. It ruins the, like, thing that ruined Sniper is Sniper, basically, and sort of competitive. It's really retarded to see people just jumping and crouching, and it fucked up the hitboxes as well, or screwed up, or messed up. I'm not supposed to swear.
Yeah, no, you can swear where you want. This isn't Blackout, so you can be like, try not to be racist, I guess. It's like my only guess, but you can swear as much as you want. You can speak like the way Swedish people speak English, and that is swearing a lot, I think.
Yeah, that's the lack of my vocabulary, so then I replace usual words. No, but I think it's a fair update. I think it's gonna change competitive to the better. And people are gonna, like with most updates, people adjust really fast. And after like a week or two on being raging on ETFL forums, it's going back to normal. And you know, people would get used to it. And as Ceejæy pointed out, doesn't matter in MVM, which is like a really big player base and a real big thing for people at the moment.
Yeah, and also the thing is, like, there's like, I think the majority of snipers that play TF2 don't jump. They don't even think about it. They just shoot, right? So if you never jump, like I specifically didn't jump because I thought it was like it should be fixed and stuff. So I could, but I didn't. But yeah, it feels like now there's some more weight to snipers. Before you could like jump in and do a headshot and jump and surf away on a rocket, but you can't do that anymore. It's actually some more commitment. And I did talk, like, when this got implemented, I got a lot of ads for different snipers. Some were like, hey, this is really great, and some were like, what the fuck did you do? Like, you broke everything, you ruined everything, go kill yourself, you know, that kind of stuff. But overall, I think it adds a more dynamic, and it kind of like brings sniper versus sniper down to what it really is, and sniper versus sniper boils down to who's better at no-scope body shotting if you want to play safe, because of the second scoping and stuff like that. So I'm sure we will be seeing some more interesting plays, because this makes room for, like, if you still want to do the jump jitter thing out of scope, you can still do it if you use the Hitman's Heatmaker in focus or the classic. I mean, you can still do it, but it comes with a penalty this time. So I guess that
I mean, I saw a conversation on the ETF12 forums, and the word there you just said, commitment, I think is pretty key, because there's a player, Fanny. Obviously, you know him. I'm sure Nijoonen knows him as well.
I have a
One of
funny
the top
story
snipers around.
when you're done.
Okay, but yeah, like plays for It's All Good. Like they finished second, one of the best teams, in Europe. So obviously knows what he's talking about when it comes to sniper. And he was saying basically what it's going to come down to now is going to boil down to either the person who wins is going to be the person who scopes second. So if you scope in and the other person hasn't scoped and they missed the shot, then they're just going to scope and kill you. Or if you scope in first and you hit your shot. So like the priority is going to be on hitting your shot first. And I think that kind of, I suppose that's better because it puts more pressure on you actually landing your shots rather than being able to just spam shots and jump afterwards. But
Yeah.
again, like I'm not a sniper main, I can't really.
Do you have anything to add to that, Nijoonen? To that statement?
Yeah, basically the same thing that Ceejæy said, but I don't really agree. No, but it promotes second scoping, which is like the second way of being very annoying in the sniper duels, where you basically scope in and instantly scope out, fooling the other sniper to scope, and you have an easy pick more or less since it's standing still, almost scoped in. And arguably that's more annoying than the jumping crouch thing, but I guess I don't know really. It's a sniper still has some mechanics that needs to be solved, and the really big backfire with removing the thing being jumped is like if you're sniping, being hit by a rocket, you can surf away. So you really remove that part from sniper, which makes him even an easier target, and this removes the sort of skill element in being able to surf damage and such.
Yeah. But it's like, you can jump still, you just can't jump while you're in the scope after you're fired, and it's not that long, it's actually a fairly short amount of time. So I don't think it's like the biggest of deals, it's just like people upset about things. But what I was going to say about Fanny is that I remember the first time I played against him, I think it was him if I don't remember wrong, but we basically destroyed him, and he was like, man, you're like really good, we got early destroyed, and I gave him some tips, I guess, and then he got really good, and we were pretty even, I think, and then we did MGE, and he started doing like the jump cancel thing with the jitter, and I had troubles hitting him doing that, because it's very hit and miss, like sometimes you hit and sometimes you don't, and it's not very reliable, so like the counter to that is just to no-scope body shot him. And then, like, he couldn't kill me because he shot and he missed and he jumped, but he was in the air and it was easy for me to hit, so I just no-scope body shot him 3 times. And then that's when they get really mad at you. And they're like, oh, stop the no-scope body shotting, you jerk. You gotta, like, just don't second scope when we're shooting first. It's like, if you shoot first, then I'm forced to second scope. But yeah, I think, like you mentioned, it's going to be like a lot more fake scoping, and it's still going to be stalemate, but it's not going to be the stalemate where they shoot and don't hit nothing. It's going to be less shots fired, but more hits. I think the accuracy is going to be better, and hopefully more no-scope body shots, because that's basically the safest way to approach it. 3 shots and he dies, pretty much. And when I've been playing, I'm not sure if you do know Tompe, the Finnish sniper. He plays on German headquarters. He's pretty good. I see Ceejæy nodding here. You know
Yeah, I've heard of him.
I deny all contact.
Oh yeah. I was playing against him like the first day after, and it seems like he was struggling because he would use that thing. So he would like not scope and just look at me, and then I just no scope body shot him 3 times and killed him. And yeah, it doesn't always work because they sometimes they kill you when they're strafe, but yeah, definitely a lot better. And also the Darwin Danger Shield is like crazy good now because you can actually tank a headshot and still shoot the guy because he's technically still on the ground. Because like I did in the analysis video, the thing is, if you jump, what you see and what the server sees is the same, but if you crouch, you actually crouch on your screen before everyone else sees it. So if you shoot and you crouch exactly as you shoot, as you are fully crouched, that's when your animation plays. So it's actually slower, so you're actually standing longer, so you're easier to hit and stuff. So counter-scoping is definitely, counter-sniping is going to definitely be easier, I think, and we will see how that plays.
It just seems like it's, like, from my opinion, because, like, as someone who doesn't play much sniper, like, you got demo versus demo. If you can hit your pipes, you're going to kill the other demo quicker.
Yeah.
Soldier versus soldier, you hit your rockets, you use your shotgun at the right time, you're going to win. Same with scout and same with, other classes. Whereas sniper, it just seems like you've got to do these kind of weird things, like you say, the no-scope body shots, and
yeah,
like,
because the class bottles down to what it's not about. Sniper is all about getting the headshots, but if you try to go for the headshots, you get counter-sniped and you die. So you can't do what you're supposed to do. It's kind of like spy versus spy, no one else. Like, both just cloak, or both just dead ringer forever. Or if you have, like, level 3 sentry NG versus level 3 sentry NG. Like, if you pick up your gun first, you die, pretty much. So it's kind of like a weird matchup. Like, what I mean by like a commitment and stuff, like I mentioned earlier, is that if you imagine like a soldier or a demo, like if I'm a demo and you're a demo, and I empty myself out of pipes and I don't kill you, and I have to reload, and you have your full clip, I'm fucked because I literally can't out damage you because I fucked up. And it's kind of like more punishable, I guess. And it's very punishable for other classes. Like if I'm a heavy and I'm not unspun, or I mean I'm unspun and somebody runs into me, chances are I'm gonna die. Like if it's a scout or something.
I think the difference is, though, is with, like you said, with the demo, if you've got nothing loaded, if I come up against Nijoonen, for example, and it's demo on demo, and he's fired all of his pipes, I still have to hit my pipes to kill him. You know, if I hit one pipe, it's going to do 100, and it's going to take at least 2 pipes to kill him if he's not buffed. Whereas, you know, the same with heavy. Obviously, someone runs into you, a scout needs to still hit 3 meat shots to take you down, or a soldier still needs to hit 3 directs to take down, you know, even an unbuffed heavy. But with sniper, if you make a mistake, like, you know, you miss your shot against another sniper, and he hits his shot, you're dead, because it just takes 1 headshot. You know, take away the danger shield, which is, I believe it's banned in Highlander.
Oh yeah, that thing needs a fix, by the way. That,
it just seems like with sniper mistakes, it's just you just get punished so much more severely, because if you don't hit your shot, you're dead.
But also, you are far away, and you're also pretty safe. So I guess that comes into consideration there. But yeah, that definitely think is a good change. Some people say like it's less fun, but I don't think trying to shoot somebody who has jittery movement is fun. Like shooting someone that goes fast, but it's smooth, like a scout running fast, that's pretty fun. But if he was just like lagging back and forth, like it's basically like doing this is basically lagging on command. And I don't remember everyone saying like, man, playing against that guy with 800 ping, that was a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that. So yeah, you got something?
Yeah, they don't really get into. I guess, like if you take the class by class and what they are, according to Valve, like supposed to do, like the functions that the class or the abilities the classes have are like given in the game, they don't really change much in the sniper. They just really are the same. You are still supposed to stand far back and, you know, be alone and shoot enemies far away. They haven't really inflicted anything about that.
Yeah. It's not like the sticky nerf that was just crazy.
Yeah, indeed, or like the short circuit for engineer, where a weapon who's supposed to like protect your sentry becomes a weapon to ruin any projectile classes.
Yeah, pretty much. Short circuit is a bit too good and too easy to use. Like if you look at the pyro, the air blasts, you gotta have key timing and you gotta aim and stuff. But with the short circuit, you can pretty much just close your eyes and hold down M1, and you will remove any rockets that are fired. But yeah, I totally see what you're saying. So sniper still what sniper does, just slightly more commitment. But yeah, I think it's a good one, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the Highlander finals, because I talked to Snow and he's like, I don't know what to do. It's hard. And he showed me like a demo. He sent me like a demo where he's like, look at how poorly I did. And all he did was he just had some unfortunate positioning. That was all he had. It wasn't that the other guy was so much better. It's just like his positioning was pretty out of place. So I think like it's gonna come more down to positioning and distractions, because like you need, like as a sniper, you're never better than your other opponent's team allows you to be, and how well your team protects you. But yeah, I think it's a good change. You think it's a good change, Ceejæy? You have nothing with it, like totally.
Bad, good or bad, I really couldn't comment, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to stand here and say, oh yeah, I think it's a good change, because when it comes to sniper, I play in lobbies and I don't even do the jump thing anyway. So it's like it affects me absolutely, like not at all. But you know, I can see the good and the bad points. I've seen a lot of people complaining. I've seen a lot of people being like, well, I don't care. But yeah, you know, we'll see. I mean, when the recent demo change that happened was like a month or 2 months ago. When they nerfed the stickies, a lot of people complained about that, and it got reverted. I don't think that's going to happen with the sniper.
No. I mean, you still do as much damage. I mean,
yeah, it's not that big of a change, so I'm sure people will deal with it, and people forget about it within like, you know, a month or so.
The biggest problem with the sticky nerf was that there was no real indication of telling when you did full damage. It was like you just have to know it was, what is it, 2 seconds or something? It was pretty crazy. Like there was no visual confirmation of anything, and I think that was like the biggest deal why they removed it. But yeah.
And it basically changed the entire game with like changing a weapon that had been the same for lots of years.
Yeah.
Like this sniper update, even if you think it's good or bad thing, it's a minor thing. And from a Highlander perspective, it could be the like tiny nerf the sniper needs, since high-level Highlander is basically about denying and protecting the snipers, let the snipers do the big works on most maps.
Yeah, so I think is a great way to, like, because sniper can kill anyone at long range, at any range. He can stay at the back and kill out heavy as soon as he peeks, you know, and that's like, how do you balance that to be fair? So yeah, I think we covered the sniper scope fix. I just want to end up with what I remember from the call with the talk I had with Fanny, and he said, like, basically it's like the previous jump thing was just to waste your opponent's time, you know. That was like the thing, like, yo, you jump and you do the crouch thing, this thing, and you just waste your opponent's time. And I thought that was really dumb, but I'm glad it's fixed now. You can still do it, but not to the same extent. I mean, you can do it and body shot the guy. That will make him mad, I'm sure. Darwin Danger Shield and a Vaccinator Medic on you. That's pretty good. But yeah, I think Sniper is slightly less powerful as he was before, but yeah, definitely good change. And then we have the next thing I want to talk about is the future of unlocks. And that's where Ceejæy comes in. That's where his expertise is, because you use unlocks, don't you?
Yeah,
yeah,
I love unlocks.
Unlocks, here you go, unlocks, yeah.
I mean, I think the way you gotta look at unlocks is there's kind of like 3 areas where unlocks are going to be used. One is going to be like pub players. Obviously, they're gonna get in. They're gonna want to use their unlocks in funny ways. So you see, like, the Phlogistinator for the pyro, and you see sort of soldiers using Beggar's Bazooka, and you think, oh well, that's cheap. But at the end of the day, it's a pub, so no one really. Obviously people take it seriously, but it's kind of rules within the pub. And then the second place is obviously competitive, which 6 is a lot more limited on like the unlocks that you can use. I think other than the medic and a few things for the soldier and the scout, it's pretty much vanilla across the board. And then obviously in Highlander there's a lot more variety with only a couple of weapons blacklisted.
Yeah.
And then the third thing is MVM, and as someone who plays a hell of a lot of that, like, you just gotta look at it like, oh, okay, how can I best deal with playing the game? And you use so many unlocks in there, the Rescue Ranger, the Scottish Resistance, well, things like the Scottish Resistance, things like the airstrike, the base jumper, things that probably wouldn't get used in competitive get used a lot in MVM. And when it comes to the future of unlocks, you've kind of got to look at Valve and think, which area are they going to be looking at, and thinking, okay, let's make an unlock that will work really well in X area. And I honestly don't think they're going to be looking at Highlander and think, oh wow, this weapon, let's make this weapon because these effects will really help in Highlander. They're probably more looking towards the MVM and the pub experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. You agree, Nijoonen?
Yes, I'm still pretty good. Like, I mean, it usually takes couple of weeks, months, years for new unlocks to be put into play in competitive. But like, it's always fun when it happens, and it can really change a game mode, which is one of the beauties with TF2. It's constantly changing and being updated.
Yeah, don't think
sometimes they're worse, sometimes they're better.
Yeah, some unlocks are better than others. Like the reason I want to talk about this is I'm kind of worried about the future too, because recently they updated the Eureka effect to be absolutely terribly bad. It's like the worst wrench for NG. And the thing is, like, well, people are like, well, you can teleport and stuff, and like, yeah, but your buildings die really quickly, because there's like this timing that you have as NG that is very crucial to having your buildings up in time, and that item makes your buildings like half as slow. And like, even though you can get behind enemy lines, you will never get the buildings ready in time, so it kind of works against itself. Similar to what discovered in like the airstrike. Like, I remember you, Ceejæy, you tried to make that thing seem alright, but sadly that's not the case. It's fun, but it works against itself because of the, like, shooting faster rockets actually doesn't work all that well when it's like more than 3, I think. Like, it works great for the Beggar's Bazooka because it's like 3 bursts, but for the airstrike it doesn't work because less damage, less explosion range, and less clip. So unless you're always rocking jumping with that weapon, you should be using another rocket launcher. So that's kind of like not very good. So back to the Love and War update we had. I think we got 5 new weapons. We got the base jumper, airstrike, tide turner, backscatter, and the classic. And out of those five, three were good. The Tide Turner was pretty much what the Charge and Splendidly Discreet should have been all along. And I feel like the Base Jumper is like a new set of gunboats that allows the soldier to not commit as much. Like, it gives you more mobility in the air, and there's some fancy tricks you can do that I haven't seen a lot of people do yet because it's fairly new. And also the Backscatter does, like, you shoot people in the back and it does more damage, and that's what it does. So, yeah. Do you have any experience with the weapons they added?
Like, I don't like any of them. No, that's a lie. I mean, the backscatter is interesting, and it kind of does reward that kind of sneak up behind play. But compared to, you know, all it takes is somebody to turn around or realize you're there or get called out, and it loses its value. And it loses its only kind of good thing. So, I mean, that's an interesting thing to use, but I can't see it being used a lot. Same with the Classic. I think it's just an interesting idea that people are going to use. Like, I used it for a bit and just thought, okay, this is okay, and I never touched it again. The Tide Turner, I don't play much Demo Night, but when I do use it. It is the best of the shields. I think it is, like you said, what Demo Night should be. It is the kind of the way that you can turn around and get the crits and continue your spree is really fun. And then looking at the other two, I mean, I'm going to have to disagree with the airstrike because I absolutely love it. I think it's the best thing in the world. It has this kind of just thing about it that I enjoy. It's mostly for MVM, I'll be honest. In competitive, it's not very useful. And in pubs, once people see that you're using it, it's very easily countered. I have gone on long streaks on pubs, but it's because people don't really know how to counter it. And once that becomes more wide known, but MVM, it's lethal. Especially on one of the maps, which is much more open, you can use the base jumper and the airstrike constantly rocket jump and just rain damage. And because you get a lot of kills in MVM, you've automatically got your your max clip size. And because you can upgrade, you can just take away the restrictions of the damage and everything like that, and you become this kind of this lethal airstriking machine. You can just take down. I did post some videos on my own YouTube where the giant robots, which usually take 30 seconds plus to kill, were taken down in a few seconds because you can just the burst damage that you can do with it is just insane. But obviously, like I said earlier, are Valve looking at these weapons and thinking, well, let's use them for pubs, and that seems to be one that they've thought that'd be really good for MVM. Let's put it into the game, and it's pretty much the only place you're going to be able to see it now.
Yeah. So that's like unfortunate. Like, one thing, have you tried the airstrike, Nijoonen? Have you tried it?
Yeah, I've played some of it on MVM and pubs. I really like it, and I'd argue different about your opinion on it being bad. I think it's viable. Under, like, if you get 1-2 kills, you get around 4 or 5 rockets. That's like the amount of rockets that's useful. 3 is not really enough to kill, for example, a medic or a demo. But if you get those 5-6 rockets, it's a perfect amount that you can fire away and hit most of them, or hopefully all of them, with good accuracy, and it's enough damage to actually kill somebody.
I mean,
and they combine it with the base jumper, gives the possibility to, if you're good enough at rocket jumping, fire like 2 rounds of those 4 or 5 rockets in one jump.
Yeah, I mean, it has potential, but I think like they could tweak it to make it a little bit better. Like, well, I kind of came to a conclusion in the episode that I did on it was that if you shoot rockets too fast, it's easier to miss because there would be like this rocket flare. Like when you shoot, there's like this fire explosion thing coming out of your rocket launcher, and even though if you hide the view models, that's still a thing that still obstructs a lot of your view. And you also come to the point where you're shooting faster than the enemy is able to take damage. So maybe you land 3 rockets, but then the 5th and the 6th and the 7th rocket doesn't hit anything because they've already flown away. But also, like, it kind of contradicts some of the other balance changes. Because if you look at the direct hit is faster rockets, less explosion radius, more damage. And then we have the Liberty Launcher, which is faster rockets, less damage, same explosion range. And then you have the Airstrike, which is less clip, less damage, and less explosion range, but more rockets. But it doesn't really add up in terms of damage. Like, if you fire on a regular rocket launcher and you fire as far away as you can, and let's say you hit somebody with 4 rockets from really far away, you can kill a 125 health class. But with the airstrike, you can't. So you also have to stay back with the airstrike, because if you go in too close, you die, and then you lose like the whole idea of staying alive. So that's like the problem with it working against itself. Like getting those kills and getting those extra clips is just really hard, because soldier is usually a bomb class, and I think the airstrike would help with the bombs, but it kind of doesn't. But yeah.
But that's exactly what it helps it. The bombs. It's more effective bombs when you can basically float above someone's head and fire 5 rockets straight into them.
Yeah. I mean that's before you build. Like the starting point is very weak, because you jump, and if you don't reload the rocket in the air, you're gonna have 2 rockets to shoot. And
but then I find that's the whole
kill.
part of unlocks, really.
Yeah,
like,
but it's
the different playing styles. You look at Soldier, and you got things like the buff banner and the Contra. Like, if you run around with those on the flank in sort of Highlander or whatever, you're more likely to die, because you don't have the gunboats to protect from the jumping. So you have to play more passive and play with your combo, maybe build up the banners, and then use them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same with the airstrike. You got to play either you either play more passive with a medic helping you out to kind of almost farm kind of the kills in order to get your clip size, or you come kind of like a cleanup class and just finish off weak targets.
Yeah.
And once you've gotten through that stage, which shouldn't really take that long, then you become this kind of, like Nijoonen says, you become really good at bombing, because you can just empty 5-6 rockets into the face of someone, and that's guaranteed to kill anyone.
Yeah, but here's why it works against itself. If you don't rocket jump with it and shoot with it, you should be using another rocket launcher, because it doesn't shoot faster, it does less damage, less explosion range, and less clip. So unless you're constantly rocket jumping and shooter, then like I always imagine that rocket jumping is to get to your enemy faster, but you rocket jump just to shoot more, to be passive, and that kind of like doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It's like working against itself. So I think like a change for that to be a bit more powerful is good. I remember Eckstein saying like in one of his videos he was kind of weak as well, and I think that's like it's definitely good when you get to the point where it's good, but it's not good enough in the early stages. So yeah, but I think it does work well enough to be fun. It's not absolute crap, but it definitely got a lot of room for improvement. So we also got the base jumper, which I absolutely love, because it allows me, who is a terrible soldier, to get a lot of market garden kills. Have you been using it without the airstrike?
Not so much, no. I mean, I think it goes with the airstrike so well, which is why I've pretty much only used it with that. When playing kind of with different rocket launchers, I prefer using one of the banners, using the gunboats, or using a shotgun, something like that. Yeah. So I've not really tried it. I can imagine with the Beggar's Bazooka, the bombs would become extremely dangerous.
Yeah, it could be.
But yeah, I mean, I've seen some demos use it.
Yeah, we saw that in a Highlander game where we...
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it. You told me about it. I missed it completely. But basically, there was a demo on Upward that just flew really high and killed a sentry from above, and nobody is really paying attention, because if they're in the sky, you have to look up, and if you look up, you don't see what's on the ground. So it's like a very good distraction method, and I think it's like really underused. It could potentially be like a new variation of playing with a bomber soldier that is just slower, because you can turn around if you don't want to commit. What do you think of the base jumper, Nijoonen? Did you try it?
I've played some of it, but as Ceejæy said, mostly with airstrike. Try to combine it sometimes with the direct hit, and do some sniping, stuff like that. But it's a really fun weapon. I think you're gonna see quite a lot of it.
Absolutely.
Being put into use in lots of creative ways.
One thing you could do with it that I actually do that is not planned is you shoot a rocket at somebody and you pull out the market gardener, and then you knock them in the air, and instead of you landing on them, they kind of like run up to your face, and then you whack them with the market gardener. It's like the most satisfying thing ever. It's really fun. But yeah, so then we can actually talk about like the future of Unlock, because they said like this could be like the prediction segment of what we think we're gonna see in the I think End of the Line will be the one that's focused on weapons, if I'm not totally mistaken. But there's going to be an update that is just weapons. So we can start with Nijoonen. Do you have any predictions of any changes or any specific things we're going to see?
I think they aren't done with messing with the stick bomb launcher yet, since they made an update, got criticism, and changed it back, which rarely seems to happen with Valve taking criticism and the community feedback. So I think they're gonna make sure with that. Hopefully they're gonna do something like less clip size or exploding radius or something like that. Not change too much, just a slight nerf. Other than that, I don't know, I'd love to see a new sandwich come into play. Something with like faster recharge rate, or what's it called? Weapon when you switch weapons, like the reserve shooter and the greaser, something like that for the sandwich, and like less healing or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's lots of room for new weapons, and hopefully some weapons that could like change Highlander in a positive way, and perhaps sixes too. New mediguns is always fun.
Yeah, hopefully get a good one, or they fix Vaccinator so that thing becomes good too. Because like the quick fix is good.
Controversial.
I mean, I mean the Vaccinator is not as good as it should be. Like it's almost, but not quite.
It has its moments.
Yeah, it has its moments, definitely, but not as much.
Coming
as...
from the MVM perspective,
yeah.
Uber is considered trash, and even quick fix, people are gonna laugh at you for that. It's either crits just for the pure damage, or the Vaccinator. It's so good, simply because to revive a teammate, you can use an Uber in order to make it go quicker. And obviously, if you're running crits, you don't really want to use your crits in order to just revive someone. You want to be using that for damage, whereas if you use the Vaccinator, you get these 4 mini charges that refill really quickly, and you can just revive your teammate in a split second and still have lots of Ubers left to protect yourself. So it works really well in that respect, and I agree that I'd like to see a new minigun, something different. Like, I'm not a fan of when they change things, especially like you said, the Eureka effect. Like, just leave, if it's not broken, don't change it. And release more options. Like, there's a lot of places where we could have more options, and minigun's one of them.
Yeah, like I've always had some ideas of like new unlocks and stuff, but how good they are, that really depends. But I'm hoping to see a sniper weapon that is not bolt action, although I don't think that's a possibility because they kind of seem to stick with the main classes. Like heavy is always rapid fire, Demo Man is always bombs. Like, you want to give the class something he's already good at and make him better at it, but give him like a side grade. That's kind of like the idea. And Valve's like, yeah, let's give the Demo Man who's all about bombs and projectiles, let's give him a shield and a sword, because shields and swords are awesome. Also, I would hope to see some balance change. Like the Pomson should just be a reskin of the Righteous Bison.
We are starting to run out of time though, I cannot leave.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, predictions. Bouncy sticky bombs. That's not sticky,
I
so
did
bouncy
think about
bombs.
something like that.
Okay.
Something with like the loose cannon in a sticky bomb form.
Okay.
That would like knock back when you launched a sticky at someone, and it would knock them back across, like you get some sort of knockback.
Okay.
And maybe ones that explode without having to detonate them.
Yeah. And maybe like Heavy gets a can of beans and he eats it, and right click his fart, and then you like rocket jump with the Heavy. That could be a thing. Do you have any like suggestions for like a new unlocks, Nijoonen, like that you've been thinking about that would have been cool to see in game?
Some new sandwich, some new minigun.
Beans. I'm hoping to see,
beans
like they seem to have been implementing a lot of stuff from Team Fortress Classics. I'm hoping for like the contagious infection gun from the minigun. And also I hope that they make something that allows the pyro to have AoE fire, so if like explosives are on people that's on fire, then people around in the explosion gets caught on fire too. Something like that.
I'd like something like for the sapper, for the spy.
Yeah.
The sapper is pretty boring at the moment. You've got the default, or you've got the red tape recorder, and that's not allowed in competitive, so as a spy in comp, you've just got the sapper. I'd like one, I've seen some suggestions of like using one that explodes. So instead of having like it's got slower sapper or something like that, when you attach it to a building, it causes an explosion that hurts the people around it. Obviously, you need to tweak it and balance it somehow so that it's not too overpowered. But I think that'd be an interesting variation.
Like it doesn't hurt buildings, but it hurts people. Yeah, that could be.
So you kind of get this explosion radiation.
And Nijoonen had to go, I guess.
Yes, I'm a bit late now.
Yeah, sorry, it took a little bit longer, but I think we're gonna end up here. So thank you to Nijoonen for joining, and thank you to Ceejæy. Any last shoutouts before we go? Bye.
Shout out to everything that's doing something to support the TF2 community. People arranging LANs, tournaments, Mumble channels, casting games, writing articles. You're the best. See you around.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna rock out.
Same for me.
Yeah, same. Just everything. Yeah, okay. So, thank you, and later. Alright.
That went
That was
That went
alright.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.